Hello, my name is Donnie Lane, and I'm senior pastor of Citychurch in Amarillo, Texas. And I want to welcome you today to another episode of our weekly television program for the Heart of the City. And this is a program that we use to come and talk to you as a supporter, as folks that pray for us and give to this ministry and make this ministry possible. You might not realize that City Church is highly involved in the lives and ministry to children in our area. And today I want to bring you up to speed and talk to you a little bit about what's going on in the fall, but also I want to report to you that we had a wonderful summer of ministry. Today, what I would like to do is to share some of the photos and videos that we took as we were in the neighborhood and just take you along with us to talk about some of the things that encourage us, that we have to look forward to. And for those of you that have been giving to this ministry so faithfully, maybe you volunteered, you've been praying for us, and I talk to folks all the time that ask, what's new at City Church? Today, I hope we can just catch up with one another, almost as if we were to go grab a cup of coffee together and just sit down and visit. So let's go together. Let me open up my iPad, and I just want to show you some of the things that I took as I am in the neighborhood. And by the way, years ago, my brother and I began to work together to tell the stories that we see in the neighborhood. And I love photography. My brother is a videographer and does a lot of video, and I'm learning how to do that. But I love photography. You can freeze a moment in time and able to kind of freeze a story and tell a whole story in one picture, one frame. And so I have some that I've chosen today that really do tell a good story and give you a real good glimpse into the daily life of City Church. So the first photo I want to show you is this young man. His name's Junior, and he's typical of the young people that serve here at City Church. He has grown up in many ways at City Church. He has been volunteering. His family comes, his sisters come, his mother comes, his stepfather is there with him, and he's just a really good, sweet kid. And, he went out every day like a lot of the young people and came and volunteered, and received the food when he was younger. And now he's giving back and faithfully doing that. And, these kids are like all other kids. They've got stuff going on. I know some of the girls had volleyball practice and the guys had off-season weightlifting and stuff at their schools for the sports that they play. But they made time, they talked to their coaches, and they arranged their affairs so they can come and give back at City Church. So we're so grateful for them, and they have the freedom to come and go. They've earned our trust. And if you come down at any given time, even if it's the fall, winter, summer, or spring, you'll find these young people at City Church. In a lot of ways, they're just a real good, constant reminder that, we're not wasting our time, that the children that we reach grow up and help us. I want to talk to you for a little bit about why we were in the neighborhoods, because now we're continuing ministry in the neighborhoods, but we're doing it a little bit differently now that the children are back in school. I want to show you some of the photographs when we went into the neighborhood. This is Valmir. He, of course, is our associate pastor, and we go into the neighborhood, and each of us have routes. It may be 10 square blocks, 15 square blocks. We work those neighborhood routes in vans, in our personal vehicles, on bicycles. And the idea is really just to have a reason every week to visit the children in their homes. During the summer, of course, we deliver lunches daily. During the fall, right now, we're just performing home visits and checking on them and making sure they're still plugged in to the weekly ministry. We're also designing some neighborhood ministries that we'll talk about in a little bit. But I really had a good time going out with Valmir, and this is his route in particular. It's over in we call it the Downtown East, and it was one of the first neighborhoods that we opened up. A lot of the families are Hispanic and speak Spanish, and then there are also some other Latino families from all over Central America and South America. Valmir is originally from Brazil, and so he speaks English and Portuguese, but he also can speak Spanish, so he can communicate. He's a super intelligent guy, and I'm so glad to get to work with him. But, no matter who we find, we're committed to reaching them. And a big part of what I want to show you in these photographs, one, you're going to see the kids are just thrilled to death to see City Church. They come running out of the house and they're glad to see us. They throw their arms around us and they're just sweet as they can be. But this year, prayer was such a big part of what we did. You might not realize that when we talk about neighborhood ministry, City Church always carries young people with us to work with young people. We train during the summer around 1,000 high school, middle school, and college students that come and live with us. Now, they don't all live with us at once. We have about 100 a week that will come and stay in some dormitory space that we have for them, and that's their week of missions. And so we take them out with us, and we train them in the mornings. We go out into the neighborhood and minister, and then we come back and have a recap that afternoon where we do some more training and preparation for them. These young people are learning how to be missionaries, and we've had many of them go back into their hometowns. Some of them come as far away as Alaska. We had a group from Mississippi this year. We have folks from Oklahoma, all over the Panhandle, New Mexico. And so they're learning how to go up to a neighborhood, introduce themselves, be relevant, minister to families, pray with families. And it's just a real practical training. But taking the time to do this when you're delivering thousands of meals a day is a little bit of a logistical trick. And so I was so grateful for our staff. One, that they made the commitment to take the time to train these young people, but also to take the time on the routes to pray with everybody. And I mean every day. It was amazing. This is a photograph of Valmir, and he's praying with a grandmother who's raising her grandchildren. And this particular apartment unit has 3 really solid families where grandparents are taking care of their grandkids. And of course, Valmir has his kids with him. We take our kids with us into the neighborhood so they can learn how to minister. And just a beautiful family, very, very sweet. And they just need the encouragement. Of course, they appreciate getting to see City Church and the lunches that we bring. And now that the kids are back in school, we're beginning to shift gears so that we can continue to get the kids that we met in a weekly Bible study. So I had so much fun going out in the neighborhoods, and these photographs are beautiful because they catch those expressions of the kids that we would otherwise lose, I think, if we were there. And of course, it's hot during the summer and you're working, and sometimes you miss this stuff. So, of course, when we're out in the neighborhood, a lot of what we do is on bicycles. And I want to show you a couple of these photos of the young people. I know that you might be aware that we deliver food, but the thing that I want to focus on in these photographs, these routes that you're seeing were actually led by college students. And these were first-year freshmen that led this route. And so not only were they making sure that the ministry was going on and the lunches were delivered and the kids were taken care of and registered and all that logistical good stuff, but they were actually hosting other high school students and middle school students as they did that. And that is a huge responsibility when you're out on a bicycle. It's one thing if you're 30 years old and you put some young people in a 15-passenger van and drive them to a neighborhood and let them walk the streets. It's another if you're leading them on bicycles. And so there's the safety elements to that. There's the mechanical stuff that happens on the routes. I was just really proud of them. But this is the legacy of City Church. One of the young people, of course, was my daughter, Audrey, and so I love her to death, and I've interviewed her on the show before, but also there's another young man, Tristan and Brighton Ball. They are terrific, godly young men, and Tristan graduated from high school, was homeschooled, and is currently helping me provide some spiritual leadership for our youth. So they're just fun to watch, and I wanted you to see not only the young people volunteering and serving, but also the young people leading them. So I want to show you a few photographs of our kitchen, and I want to tell you just about what's going on with the food at City Church. We have made a huge transition at City Church, and we've talked a little bit about it, but I don't think it's hard for people that don't work in the restaurant industry to understand how huge this transition was. You might be familiar in the past, of seeing City Church pulling corn dogs and stuff out of these ovens, and we have the capability to do that. The thing is, all that food basically has already been cooked, and it's cooked by, restaurant suppliers like Affiliated or Benny Keith, and you purchase it, and it's good, and when you're cooking, 2,000 of something, 2,500 of something, it's hard to cook it from scratch. You really have to know what you're doing. And so for that reason, we've always done chicken. We have a chicken nugget day, and we had a corn dog day in the past, and we made things fresh. And of course, we made fresh corn and fruit and all that good stuff. But in the back of our minds, we kept wondering if it would be possible to just level up a little bit and cook fresh food for the children. And you've really got to have a talented chef, not just a line cook, not somebody with experience in a kitchen. You have to have a chef who can look at and raw ingredients, put together a coherent menu that will work logistically for 2,000 meals, and have the leadership capability to pull it off with volunteers who are fresh every week, by the way. So I just want to point this couple out to you. This is Lazaro and Maria Garcia. And Lazaro not only is our head chef and handles the intake and the management and stewardship of all of our donated food and really all the food that comes out of our kitchen, but he and Maria also pastor City Church in Espanol, which is a Spanish-speaking congregation at City Church that we launched in January. He's being trained as our mission pastor to not only interface with the Spanish-speaking congregants and the members of City Church and the folks in the neighborhood, but also Lazaro and Maria are learning how to care for and work with and coordinate with our African congregations. And they are just fantastic. Of course, they're bilingual. Maria speaks more Spanish, but I have never seen volunteers so sad to leave than the volunteer kids that were leaving our kitchen each week. I remember we had a short staff meeting, and we had gathered up our staff in the cafe, and the groups were leaving. The work was done, and one young person after the other came and were just hugging their necks and were crying that they were going to miss them. And it says something when you run a kitchen that well, and young people that are in high school love working with you so much that they hate to leave. But they're just great folks. I want to show you some pictures of the work that goes on, some video of the kitchen. They're just great. And it's transformed the kitchen at City Church. This is their daughter, Joanna. She is one of the most polite young ladies. She graduated from high school last year, and now she's a student at AC, and just terrific. We could not be more proud of them. And they are just invaluable. I can't tell you how wonderful they are in the management of our food. On Sunday mornings, we cook lunch, after church. On October 1st, we'll be transitioning to breakfast. But it's just wonderful. And the food that comes out is beautiful and fresh, and really would be the kind of meal that we would expect to find if we paid $15 to $18 a plate in a very nice restaurant. And that's the experience that Lazaro and Maria bring, and that's where they've worked as a chef in some of the most upscale places in Amarillo. So God's called them to serve as pastor, and we just could not be more thrilled to have them. The next thing I would like to show you, I want to show you some photographs of our park, because the park was such a blessing. I don't know if you realize it. You might be new to City Church, or maybe if you've never physically come down. We have a park that is located, used to be a vacant lot. We built it years ago. It nearly killed us, but we built it. In fact, we built our park before we had a sanctuary. But we're located at, of course, 205 South Polk, and then right across the street is our park. You can't miss it. It has a big 50-foot tall climbing tower that we built, and there's a big red cross as part of the climbing tower. And so during the summer, we spend as much time as possible over in that park. It is so beautiful over there. And, we're able to take the kids over there during the summer when it's hottest. We have jumpers that are all water features, water slides, slip and slides. We have water features for the babies. And I know we've talked about that in the past. The reason I wanted to show you, though, the park is just to let you know that in the fall we are going to really utilize the park. In fact, this evening was one of the first evenings where it was just cool and pleasant outside, and I really look forward to October, November, December. Even when it's colder around Christmas, we have some stuff planned over in our park, and it's a wonderful ministry tool. For those of you that give to Citychurch, I want you to know that we really do put the money back into those facilities. And this year we did spend and invest quite a bit of money in just the upkeep and renovation of our park. But it was so just wonderful. It's like walking through a garden over there. And for the families that come, can you imagine the relief that they get? When they're leaving a home that is uncomfortable. Some of them are homeless and they're living on a friend's couch and they just can't relax, and they're just able to run. They can kick off their shoes. There's no stickers or anything like that. And, of course, we feed over there. It's just beautiful. And I look forward to showing you more ministry going on in the park. I also want to just show you, this is our food truck, and this is one of one of the additions to our ministry that I'm so excited about, and this is really going to come into maturity during the fall. We needed a way to slow down the process of feeding people in the neighborhood. And let me explain. When we go and we're caring for people's needs, no matter what time of year it is, you really do have to discipline yourself to slow down, because the tendency is to try to cover as much ground as you can in the time that you have. But what I noticed was that when people are eating from a food truck, it is a slower process, and people are visiting and talking. And when we go into an apartment unit, or even really at some intersections in San Jacinto and Hamlet and other places, there are those areas where you'll have 6 houses where children live right in close proximity together. And we, for years, have been praying for a food truck. We want to develop the food truck so that we can take it across the street from high schools during lunch. We can go into the neighborhood and have backyard Bible clubs that we can host, and on and on and on. I mean, you can imagine just how fun it would be. We haven't said a lot about our food truck because I really was waiting for this time of year, but I want to tell you, it is a beautiful tool. I want to show you some photographs of it kind of in its being used. We would take it out and park it, and it is different than a lot of the trucks that they kind of refer to on the street as a roach coach. A lot of the food trucks are really designed for one thing. It's a taco truck or a hamburger truck or a pizza truck. But we needed a truck that really was a mobile kitchen that had the flexibility to be used for really anything we wanted to cook. We needed a truck with a lot of cold storage and really with a huge generator. And frankly, we have a small staff, and I needed to find a truck that I wasn't going to have to, I can weld, but I don't have time to build a truck. And so I needed to find one in really good shape. And we found a perfect truck, and a supporter and someone that helps me lead in the ministry, Trent Morgan, and I went to California where we found this truck and drove it home, got a tremendous deal on it, and it's in great shape, and we are so excited. We took it out before we painted it this summer. I wanted to use it and try it out and see what things we would want to change. But I'll tell you what I learned was that this food truck is going to be more than a food truck. It's going to be a fun truck. And we're fixing in the fall, we're going to take it out, load it down with snacks every afternoon, go into areas where we're able to pull kids together and teach children where they're at. Logistically, when you have 1,500 children that you're caring for, and you think, okay, how can I make a commitment to these children that I'm going to get them all plugged into a weekly Bible study? I don't know any other way to do that than to really, of course, involve them, as many that can come, bring all that you can, but also we've got to figure out a way to go to them. And this food truck is the support vehicle for that. And during the summer, as hot as it was, we would deliver food. We weren't cooking out of it during the summer. We took all the popsicles, we took the lunches, but it has sinks and air conditioning and things. And so for the little babies that were the children of the volunteers and stuff, it was a place where the little babies could go and cool off. We would hand the lunches out of it, and then after the lunches, hand toys that were donated out of it to the children. And I just experimented with it over the summer, and now we really see what works. And so I look forward in October, in particular in November, coming and telling you these stories of ministry of how we're using this truck, and you're gonna love it. This thing is just pure fun, and we can cook anything we want to out of it. It's capable, and it's one of those things that, again, allows young people to get involved in mission work in their own hometown. So those are some of the things that we're currently working on this fall. Citychurch is already planning for our Christmas, and in a week I'm going to come and I want to talk to you about what we're going to be doing for the children in October and November. We're close, if you can believe it, to October 1st, and for Citychurch, that's really when our Christmas schedule begins to kick off. You know, when you see these stories of ministry, I want you to know Citychurch is different. A couple things that make us unique. One, we're not funded by the government in any way, because it would limit our message. And we really feel strongly that when we go into the neighborhood, we need the freedom to talk to any child we meet about Jesus Christ. And so that's our goal. Citychurch is supported through the faithful gifts of folks that care about this ministry, that love the children and want to make a difference in the lives of the kids. And also, I think people understand the principle that we live by at Citychurch, that when we say that help with no hope is no help at all. You know, you see us do a lot of real practical, helpful things in the lives of children, but I want you to know that every gift we give that child is attached to an opportunity to hear the good news that God loves them, and the commitment of a church and a group of pastors and teachers that are going to care for them 12 months out of the year. You know, our work is seasonal. From time to time, it changes, but our mission is not seasonal. And as we go into the fall, I know that there's a lot of things that are tugging at our attention right now. And I would just ask if you would just, with your family, with your friends, would you pray for Citychurch? Would you think about what you might be able to do financially to help us during this time? And one of the safest and most convenient ways to give is online at citychurchamarillo.com. Our website is a place where you can find information about Citychurch, but also right now it's, of course, very simple, and it's a real easy place to donate and to make a donation in an efficient way and a safe way. But, you know, more than all of that, please know that we are very grateful. And I hope to see you in person if you want to come down and would like to visit Citychurch. We're located in Amarillo, Texas. Our address is Citychurch, 205 South Polk, Amarillo, Texas, 79101. That's Citychurch, 205 South Polk, Amarillo, Texas, 79101. I would love for you to come down, and especially over the holidays, if you're in one of the surrounding counties and you're doing a little shopping in Amarillo, drop on by. Let us know if it's after hours or something like that. If you'll give us a call and let Donette know in the office, I would love to meet you down there. I don't care when it is, especially if you're one of those folks that I speak to that maybe have never had an opportunity to come down, but you've been supporting Citychurch. I'm so grateful and would love to show you around and show you what God's doing through your support. But no matter what God calls you to do or leads you to do, whether it's to give a gift or to pray or maybe to volunteer, maybe the Lord will call you to be one of those folks that will come and serve for a lifetime down at Citychurch. We will continue to be that place where you can come and live the mission.